Before there were flying saucers, before Roswell, before Project Blue Book, there were the Foo Fighters. November 1944, World War II, the skies over Europe. Hundreds of Allied pilots encounter something that defies explanation. Not enemy aircraft, not hallucinations, something else. This isn't speculation, this is documented military history, official reports, declassified investigations, witness testimony from combat veterans. I'm Joe with Battleborn History, combat veteran and military historian. Today we're diving into the Foo Fighter phenomenon, one of the most credible UFO cases in military history. Let's get into it. Let me set the scene. It's November 27, 1944. The 415th Night Fighter Squadron is based outside Dijon, France. Their job, hunt and destroy Nazi aircraft under cover of darkness. They're flying Bristol Beaufighters and P-61 Black Widows, cutting-edge night fighters equipped with onboard radar. That night, Lieutenant Edward Schluter is at the controls. Behind him, radar operator Lieutenant Donald J. Myers, a guy from Chicago who loves the Smokey Stover comic strip, and intelligence officer Lieutenant Fred Ringwald. They're flying north of Strasbourg along the Rhine River, enemy territory, hunting for German aircraft. Then Ringwald sees them, 8 to 10 bright orange lights off the left wing, flying through the air at high speed.
Schluter immediately calls ground control. Do you have anything on radar? Over.
Negative, skies are clear.
But they're not clear. The lights are right there, about 150 feet away. Schluter banks toward them. The lights vanish instantly, then reappear about a mile away. He tries again. Same thing. This goes on for several minutes. Then, the lights just disappear. When they land, Myers is freaked out. According to Ringwald's debriefing notes, Myers was extremely agitated. He pulled out his Smokey Stover comic from his back pocket, slammed it on Ringwald's desk, and yelled,
"It was another one of those effing Foo Fighters."
The name stuck. Over the next 6 weeks, the reports multiply. And we're not talking about 1 or 2 drunk pilots, we're talking about dozens of highly trained combat aviators, guys who have logged hundreds of combat hours, who know the difference between an enemy aircraft and a weather phenomenon. December 14, 1944, Lieutenant Wallace Gould reports lights following his wingtip for several seconds before shooting 20,000 feet straight up and vanishing. December 17, 1944, multiple crews over Germany report vertical rows of 3 balls of fire flying in front of their aircraft. Late December, pilots describe groups of about 15 lights arranged like a Christmas tree up in the air. And it's not just the 415th, the 422nd Night Fighter Squadron in Belgium reports similar sightings. The 8th Air Force bomber crews see them. Royal Air Force pilots have been reporting them since March 1942. Then reports start coming from the Pacific. B-29 crews of the 5th Air Force over Japan encounter red balls of fire that pace their aircraft during bombing runs. Here's where it gets interesting. After the war, we learned that German pilots saw them too. So did the Japanese. Everybody's seeing the same thing. So much for the German secret weapon theory.
There are 3 kinds of these lights we call Foo Fighters. One is red balls of fire which appear off our wingtips. The second is a vertical row of 3 balls which fly in front of us. The third is a group of about 15 which appear off in the distance.
Now, this is where it gets interesting from a military history perspective, because unlike a lot of UFO stories, this one has a documented paper trail. Heavyweight scientists were brought in. David Griggs, Luis Alvarez. They investigated. Their conclusion? Inconclusive. The Robertson panel in 1953 suggested maybe St. Elmo's fire, electromagnetic phenomena, or light reflections from ice crystals. But none of these explained the speed, maneuverability, or intelligent behavior. All right, let's break down what makes the Foo Fighter phenomenon credible. 1. Multiple independent witnesses. We're not talking about one guy, hundreds of pilots across multiple squadrons, multiple countries, both Allied and Axis forces, all describing similar objects with similar behavior. 2. Official documentation, unit histories, intelligence reports, debriefing notes, all in official military archives. 3. Professional observers. These are trained combat pilots, guys who can identify aircraft types at a glance, who understand aerodynamics, who know what weather phenomena look like. 4. Radar confirmation, or lack thereof. Here's the weird part, onboard radar rarely picked them up, but pilots could see them with their eyes. This suggests they were either made of something radar transparent, or they were light phenomena rather than solid objects. 5. Consistent behavior across reports. Never hostile, never attacked or damaged aircraft, intelligent control, match speed, direction changes, maintained formation, impossible maneuvers, instantaneous direction changes, speeds matching 200-400 mph aircraft, multiple colors, red, orange, white, blue. Vanish, instantly. No gradual departure, just gone. 6. No conventional explanation fits. Not enemy aircraft, not weather balloons, not hallucinations, not St. Elmo's fire, not ball lightning. Fast forward to 2024. Scientists from UCLA, University of Arizona, and Harvard-Smithsonian published a study suggesting Foo Fighters might have been thermospheric plasmas, electromagnetic entities that form in the upper atmosphere. These plasmas can take various shapes, are attracted to electromagnetic activity, and have been documented approaching spacecraft and the space shuttles. But here's what's interesting. The US government's 2021 UAP report describes objects with nearly identical characteristics. Same speed, same maneuverability, same lack of radar signature. Are today's UAPs the same phenomenon pilots saw in 1944? We don't know. Whatever the 415th Night Fighter Squadron encountered over the Rhine Valley in November 1944 remains officially unexplained, not because there's no documentation. The documentation is extensive, not because the witnesses weren't credible. These were combat veterans, trained observers, professional military aviators. The Foo Fighters remain unexplained because after 80 years of investigation, nobody has found a conventional explanation that fits all the evidence. Those pilots saw something. It was real enough that military intelligence took it seriously, real enough that it made the front page of the New York Times, real enough that it's still in declassified military archives today. That's the Foo Fighter phenomenon. Real military history, documented, verified, unexplained. I'm Joe, this is Battleborn History. If you want more deep dives into declassified military mysteries, hit subscribe, and let me know in the comments. What do you think the Foo Fighters were? Until next time.